Goodfellas, a classic film directed by Martin Scorsese, is known for its high body count, with many deaths occurring both on and off screen. One such death is that of Stax Edwards, whose killing is depicted in the film and also has real-life parallels. While Scorsese has worked in various genres throughout his career as a filmmaker, including black comedy and sports drama, he's most renowned for his gangster movies. Of these, Goodfellas, released in 1990 and based on the book Wise Guy by Nicholas Pileggi, is widely considered his best work. Goodfellas is a film that tells the story of mob associate Henry Hill, played by Ray Liotta. The film follows Hill's journey from being an errand runner for Paul Cicero and his crew to becoming fully involved with the Lucchese crime family. During his time in the mob, Hill becomes acquainted with notable figures such as Tommy DeVito and Jimmy the Gent Conway, and becomes involved in various criminal activities. Although Hill is not directly involved in the infamous Lufthansa Heist depicted in the film, the heist has a significant impact on his circle, as many of those involved end up being killed, including Parnell's Stax Edwards. In this video, we're getting to the bottom of why Tommy killed Stax in Goodfellas, so let's get started. In the film Goodfellas, Jimmy Conway masterminds the Lufthansa heist and enlists Tommy to help with the operation. Henry, meanwhile, serves as an observer and narrator of the events. The plan for the heist is complex and requires a precise execution, so Jimmy assembles a crew of gangsters to carry out specific tasks. One member, Stax, is responsible for the disposing of the van used in the robbery. The amount of money each participant receives is based on their role in the heist. However, Jimmy becomes paranoid that someone will betray him and gets many of the crew members killed, starting with Stax. In the movie, the Lufthansa heist goes mostly according to plan, except for one major mistake. Stax, who was supposed to dispose of the van, leaves it parked in front of his girlfriend's apartment instead of taking it to a junkyard in New Jersey as planned. The van is discovered by the police and fingerprint evidence is found, leading Jimmy to believe that Stax may have betrayed him. As a result, Jimmy orders Stax to be killed, and Tommy carries out the assassination. In reality, Stax was also killed, but it was Paul Cicero in the film, who ordered the hit, with Tommy carrying it out. As shown by Pesci's Oscar-winning performance, Tommy was a ruthless psychopath. He's thought to have murdered at least 10 people, although the true body count is not known for sure. Henry Hill has even gone as far as saying that Tommy would sometimes kill someone simply because he wanted to try out a new firearm, and he liked to use other humans as target practice. There are endless amounts of sadistic stories about Tommy, and it may have something to do with him trying to prove himself to the mob after his older brother became an informant. He's thought to have committed his first murder at the young age of 19, when he was walking down the street and spotted a passing pedestrian, a complete stranger to both him and Hill. Tommy turned to Hill and said, "Hey Henry, watch this." Then he pulled out a .38 caliber pistol and shot and killed the innocent man. In Goodfellas, we get quite a taste of Tommy's sadistic nature as he piles his bodies on top of bodies, sometimes for no reason, sometimes to prove a point. There's the shooting of Spider for no reason, and then the murder of Spider after the bartender tells Tommy to go F himself. Tommy also gets into a spat with Billy Batts and kills him by beating him, and then stabbing him to death. But surprisingly, there is one murder committed by Tommy that he felt remorse for, or at least he was hesitant in doing. It may seem crazy that such a psychotic individual would have any qualms about murdering someone, but it apparently is the case. The Lufthansa heist, organized by Jimmy Burke and involving Tommy, started from a tip-off from Henry Hill, and it involved a crew of about 6 men. One of these men was the black criminal Parnell Stax Edwards, played by Samuel L. Jackson in Goodfellas. His job was to take a truck used in the heist and drive it to a junkyard where mafia contacts would compact it, destroying any evidence. The heist itself was successful, but Stax, instead of doing his duty, he went to his girlfriend's where he did drugs and then fell asleep. The police found the truck and a muddy boot print that matched a pair of shoes owned by Stax, which immediately turned him into a liability to the mob. Not only did NYPD find the van Stax left in Canarsie, they also found a leather jacket, ski masks, and fingerprints with it. In short, Stax had given police the biggest lead they could get on the heist of the century, all because he was too lazy to follow through and ditch the van. Obviously, Stax' days were numbered after police found the van, but he kept hanging around Conway's club as if nothing had happened. As Hill had pointed out, Stax should have been running for his life, but instead he stayed put. Eventually, the order came in for Stax to disappear, and Paul Vario gave the order to none other than Tommy. However, Tommy, who was good friends with Stax, didn't want to do it. Tommy was eventually persuaded after being promised that he would get his button, become a made man, if he went through with the murder, and it's only after this promise that he finally agreed. Tommy visited Stax, and as he let him inside his place, Tommy put several bullets into the man, killing him. He's reported to have said, "Sorry, pal, I hope it didn't hurt. Sooner or later, I'll see you in heaven or hell. Wherever you're going, I'm sure that's where I'll be going." According to sources, Tommy even called Stax's mother the next day and apologized for what happened to him. Of course, this is not a verified source, but since Tommy and Stax were really good friends, it seems plausible. Despite him not wanting to kill his friend, Tommy was promised he would become a made man and decided to pull the trigger. Eventually, as the film shows, karma did get him in the end, as he was tricked into attending what he thought would be his initiation ceremony, but was actually the site of his murder. Samuel L. Jackson played the minor role of Stax in Goodfellas, which was one of his early film appearances, having previously had small roles in movies like Coming to America and The Exorcist III. Despite his brief appearance in Goodfellas, Stax is a memorable character. It's uncertain whether Tommy would have killed other members of the crew if Stax had disposed of the van as planned, but it's clear that Stax's mistake set off a chain of murders. In real life, the murder of Stax happened the exact way as in the movie. On December 18, 1978, 1 week after the Lufthansa Heist, Tommy DeSimone, in Goodfellas, the character Tommy DeVito played by Joe Pesci, and an associate went to Stax's apartment and shot him in the head and chest 6 times. Police found Stax dead in his bed like that. It happened almost exactly the way it did in Goodfellas. Stax was 31 at the time. Do you think Tommy should have refused to kill Stax? What would you have done if you were in Tommy's place? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below.